What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the 66th episode of Collecting Profit. I am lucky to have a wonderful returning guest, Big John. Big John, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good, man. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing really well, man. It's great. It's opening day eve.
Yes, it
You know,
is.
looking forward.
Excited.
Yeah, yeah.
I say,
Looking
I
forward to see
say
what
every.
happens. How about you?
Me too. I say this every year, opening day. If the Cubs win, it's gonna be a great year. If the Cubs lose, we're gonna spend the rest of the year crawling out the gutter.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, I'm a Mets fan, so I mean, it's going to be interesting to see what they do. Um, but we got Dusty. How you doing? Hunter, how are you, sir? Jimmy, what's going on? Yeah, it's going to be a interesting year. It's funny when you have an owner who says he's also like a big fan of the team, so it was like so great when he bought the team. But then you have that same owner who lets the guy who wants to probably be there, the guy who has said he wants to be there, Pete Alonso, and he's not going to negotiate with him during the season. And he basically, it sounds like he's going to have that little bit of window right after the World Series, and he might let Pete hit free agency. And I don't know. I think that's a bad idea.
You know, Bombers doing the same thing, similar to what Tom Ricketts did when he took over the Cubs. He's a big fan of the team, won his championship, and then we're spending too much money.
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, so we got to stop spending so much money. We had those bad years, but even this year they didn't spend money. They just re-signed Bellinger and got a lot of good prospects. Got Seiya, got Shada. So
Yeah, I
that
tell
farm
you
system is coming up.
yeah, the Shada is going to be, I think, a sneaky sleepy one, because I think he's going to be good. The Bryant, I give them credit of just basically digging their heels in and being like, nah, you are not getting 200 million from us. Sorry, go get it someplace else. And look what happened. Nothing. I mean, you look at the beating that Scott Boras took
Oh,
this year between
brutal, brutal,
Bellinger,
brutal.
Snell, Chapman, Montgomery too.
Montgomery just signed.
Yeah, I mean, and I
He,
don't. Did he have somebody else also? Maybe,
I
but
think he
he
has
took.
Alonso. He
He
has
does have
Alonso
Alonso. Yeah, and
because
look,
Alonso
they're
was
not.
supposed to come to Chicago. They were
Yeah.
trying to get Alonso
Yep.
if they couldn't get Bellinger. It's Scott Boras has been a revered name in kind of sports agency,
Heck
and
yeah.
this year he got beat. He got his comeuppance.
Yep.
You know,
Yeah,
I
he
don't
tried
know.
to he's always tried to play that damn game of, hey, I have 3 or 4 teams that are willing to pay this guy, and didn't happen this year. So, but Bellinger going back there is good for the Cubs. I mean, it is really good for the Cubs.
I think it's good for Bellinger because his last 2 seasons in the Dodgers wasn't that great, and that's why they
Right.
let him go. I think Kim new scenery, um, being that great defense for us and being able to play first for us, that versatility that he has is going to be great.
Yep.
Um, I'm looking forward to it. I think we'll get like 90 wins this year.
Yeah. So what do you got? So you have, what's your
Justin
pitching look
Steele,
like?
Jimmy. Justin Steele. Shout out Mugga. You got
That's true.
a good bullpen. Kyle Hendricks is your third, your 2 year three. You got good back ends. Then they have good pitching in the minors. Cade Horton, definitely
Yeah.
person I'm prospecting on. He should be up toward the end of the year. He's almost like 6, 7 months removed from Tommy John, I believe. So he should be up toward the end of the year with that playoff push to get some good pitching. You have Jordan Wicks and a couple more prospects. I could probably look them
Pitching,
up. Chicago box.
you guys got, I mean, you have young pitching too.
Yeah.
Like, I
It's
mean,
all young pitching.
I mean, what Hendricks is what, the oldest guy?
Yes.
And it isn't like he's, really, really old, right? I mean, so you're still you got young pitching coming up with Wicks and Horton and Steele. I mean, even what Keegan. I think
Keegan.
they sent him down, but he's another one who has got a lot of potential to him. I mean,
and they
yeah,
got
I mean,
one of the best managers in Major League, Craig Counsell. So
yeah,
he can handle a pitching staff. What he did with the Brewer staff, what he did with developing that staff,
yep,
and he's going to have that ability to do it with better natural talent.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, good team, and that division. When you look at that division, the Pirates are going to be the Pirates, right? I mean, hey, I'm just, hey, I mean, they could be good, they could not. I mean, they're young. They're another one young. You're hoping. They got O'Neal Cruz coming back. You got Key Brian Hayes, who I don't think he has reached the level they thought he was going to reach, but he has gotten somewhat better each year. They have some of the other rookies. Pitching. Again, they don't really have a ton, but when you look at that, I mean, you look at Milwaukee. I mean, Milwaukee has traded away, their number one pitcher. From that standpoint, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna get to the Cardinals. Milwaukee.
Do we have to?
Milwaukee traded away their best pitcher. I mean, unless you consider that, I mean, Devin Williams is probably their best overall pitcher. They got rid of their best starter. They're going to be young, and they're going to be young also. So they're, I mean, who knows what they're going to do? And they lost their manager, right?
Which is a big loss.
St. Louis is just weird, man. I don't know what to make of them. It's. I mean, I don't know. I mean, you have the corner infielder guys, which are solid. They do have Edmund. They do have, Brendan Donovan. They have some nice young pieces. I just don't know about the pitching for them. That's what that's what gets me.
I will say this: William Contreras can handle any pitching staff. So he can call a good game.
Kenneth. Yeah.
But the Cardinals, like, I don't know, they didn't do much in free agency. They didn't go out and get anybody. They still have Arenado, so they're gonna have some pop. But they didn't take them to the last 2 weeks of spring training to hit a home run.
Yeah, and you got Goldschmidt over. You got Goldschmidt. I mean, hey, yes, they do have Jordan Walker. For the outfield and stuff like that. But what's what I'm saying? Like, they're just a weird. I don't know. When it just seemed as though like 3-4 years ago, they just seemed very different. I don't know how much they have changed, but they just seem very, very different than 3-4 years ago. It was like, I don't know. It's weird. It's like when Yadier Molina left, Pujols was at the end, so that doesn't make a difference, right? You know what I'm saying? No, but it just kind of, I don't know. It just seems weird. Like I said, don't get me wrong, that they're still going to win a bunch of games, but I mean, that division really is, open. And then you have Cincinnati, and with all the young talent they have now, they're gonna be in trouble. They lost Matt McClain. He was, kind of the guy who was going to be like the table setter, all that kind of stuff.
Where'd he go?
He got hurt.
Well, he's hurt.
He got hurt. I don't know if it was an ACL. I don't know if it was a knee or an ankle, but he got hurt.
Well, they're talented. They're exciting. You have Ellie, who's just exciting. What he can potentially do each at bat, what he can do on the defensive end is exciting. From they have a young talent, a young pitching staff for the most part, but they're an exciting team. I think the Cardinals, going back to the Cardinals, we're used to them being 1 or 2 in the Central,
Yeah.
and it seems like they could be 3, they could be 1, they could be dead last this year.
Yeah.
You just don't know what you're going to get with them.
Yep.
I'm really excited for
Oh,
one
it
of
was a
the.
shoulder from McLean. I'm sorry, it was a shoulder.
Oh,
What's up, Anthony? How you doing, buddy?
what's up, Anthony?
Yeah, so I mean, it's going to be interesting,
Yeah.
and that whole thing and everything. And then, I mean, what do you think about the big elephant in the room, Shohei Ohtani, man? What do you think?
Shohei Ohtani. So I think you're not MLB is not going to get around the cover up talk that they're covering it up, whether he's guilty or innocent. From his character, I don't think he's guilty. We've seen a lot of athletes conned by people that were close to them, right? It's just Dom. What's up, Dom? What kind of socks we got? It's just like, okay, it's from the spin control of it from the MLB. You're gonna have people just say they're gonna cover up. He's the number 1 star. They're not gonna let anything bring him down. Kind of to what David Stern did for Jordan when his retirement. But he could. I think he's probably innocent and got conned by a good friend who's, if you believe the reports coming out, is a grifter. His resume is full of lies. He never worked for this team. He never worked for that team. Didn't go to this school, but somehow, he was close friends with Ohtani, and who knows?
Yeah. I agree with you. The one thing for me that honestly, that is like the hardest part to understand is the relationship they had. And the reason why I say that is because it just seems so odd that the guy who, to us, right? It's my interpreter. It's my interpreter, right? That's the way we looked at him. So from my perspective, I'm thinking he's your interpreter. Not saying he's not a friend, not saying he's not a good buddy, but he basically worked for you, worked for the Dodgers. Like, I don't know, like, I'm not sure who he worked for. Did he work for the Dodgers, but was just friends with Ohtani? Did Ohtani pay him, whatever it is? But it just, for me, on the outside looking in, you're going, so you gave your interpreter the ability to wire money out of your account, and he wires $4.5 million, and you don't notice it. You know what I mean? Like,
So the him not noticing it,
thanks, Double T.
I can understand him not noticing it, because especially if it happens during the season, he's probably not. You're at a point where you make that much money, you're not checking your bank account daily. He's probably, we see if athletes, they hire a finance guy and their money gets over, they're not checking their bank account. Money gets, MLB basketball players, football players, they go broke relatively quickly because they have a money manager who mismanages their money or they're steals from them.
But don't you think you would have some kind of alerts on your phone that says $500,000 just got wired, transferred?
Listen, who knows? Look at all the basketball players and football players who've gone broke, who've made hundreds of millions of dollars and gone broke during their career, toward the end of their career. Anything can happen. I think the thing I seen earlier today on Instagram was a game that was supposedly Ohtani or his interpreter bet on, and it was a game where Ohtani gave up 6 runs and struck out, and the line was 6.5.
Yeah.
For the other team. So it's not as blatant as the basketball one with Michael Porter Jr.'s brother. Well, that's just blatant.
One's crazy.
He was shaving points, but Mm.
The-
It does. If he's guilty, is there out for the Dodgers on this contract? If he's guilty, because MLB contracts are guaranteed, but I know Tampa was able to get out of Wander Franco's contract.
yeah, I would
So
say that they would figure out a way to do it. Well, Adam, it's not about whether it's pocket change or not. It's a matter of all I'm saying is that you would think that if a $500,000 at each time or more is getting wire transferred from your account to another account, that there would be some kind of red flag thrown up by even the bank. You mean to tell me? I mean, I don't care who you are. I guess I just don't. Maybe again, you know, $4.5 million is like 45 cents to me. You know what I'm saying? I mean, to him, that's like the equivalent, right? It's like $45 is equal to 4.5 million, for him. But what I'm saying though is that, you know, if I go ahead and I go to my ATM and and I'm gonna be going to, an estate sale or something along those lines, and I take out a whole bunch of cash from the ATM, I get a little thing from my bank that says, "Hey, you went ahead and this amount of money was taken out of your account. Was that you?" Oh, I'm saying it's $500,000.
it is.
You know,
When I go, it's the first time I went out of town, and I couldn't use my bank card because I didn't notify them I was going out of town. I was just going from Connecticut to New York. But after that, that was the only time I got red flag. Now when I go out of town, my bank doesn't flag me because they see I travel relatively in this you know New England area enough.
right?
So it's first time they call, could have been the interpreter picked up the phone and said, "Hey, yeah, I I'm sure hey and I approved and never got
True.
noticed." It's a
No,
lot.
I don't disagree. That's what. See, that's what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm saying from my perspective, and I think what a bunch of people are looking at it is that they're just saying, "Hey, to us, you told us that this guy is your interpreter."
Mm-hmm.
It just again outside looking in. Okay, it just seems odd that an interpreter would have that kind of access to bank accounts. That's all. I'm not saying that it's not that he did. I mean, I'm saying it more than likely he could. But here's the thing that gets me is, couldn't you have said that in the press conference? Sometimes press conferences are it's more about what you don't say than what you do say. He could have said, "You know what? I got scammed. He had access to my bank account and I got scammed." But he didn't.
He said he stole from him.
He
I,
said he stole from him.
I mean, we know Otani didn't write that statement.
Well, that's
So
true.
a bunch of lawyers
That's
wrote that
definitely
statement.
true.
I mean, but who vetted? But even though this goes to the process, who vetted this translator, right? Because if all these things, if he didn't work for the Red Sox, he didn't go to UC Irvine or UC Davis. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Who vetted him
Right.
in the MLB?
Right.
Like the who there's a vetting process to work that closely with a player of Otani's caliber and a team like the Dodgers. They're just not looking at resumes saying, Big John, you speak Mandarin, you can be his translator. There's a background check and vetting going. So there's failures on multiple levels or deception on multiple levels.
Yep. Yeah, like I said, I don't know whether he's innocent or guilty.
Mm-hmm.
All I'm saying is some things just, when you look at it, again, once, it's just, "Oh, it's my interpreter. It's my interpreter. It's my interpreter." It's not, "Hey, this is my best friend, my confidant." I mean, so obviously this guy didn't come over from Japan with him. So that means this guy was here. So I'm just curious.
So
Otani's been in the big leagues how many years?
10?
No. Has he been
No,
that
8.
long?
Let
Okay.
me look it up. So when I just got out of high school, I worked in the suites for the White Sox, and I had a 2 week background check just to work in catering.
Oh wow.
So
He is a friend from way before. So I don't know what way before means, but so that means Otani had no idea that his best friend, Confident, did not go to the college that he said he went to, and he didn't work for the Red Sox like he said he did. Oh, again, I'm not going ahead and saying the guy is guilty. I'm not saying the guy is innocent. All I'm saying is I'm just having a hard again based off of what was said. It's my interpreter. It's my interpreter. Unless I missed him talking about how intertwined their relationship was. Unless I missed that, and I could have. I haven't watched every single moment of this whole story. All I'm saying is that it just doesn't look right. I'm not saying that he's guilty. I'm saying it doesn't look right. That's all.
so what is? I wonder what that Tops Now card is worth with Trout, Ipe, and Otani on it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yes. It's most likely that could have happened. It definitely could have happened.
That could have happened. What? So, do we think that Ipe goes to an American jail? They send him back to Japan. What's the worst case scenario for the fall guy? If Otani did it and Ipe's the fall guy, what's the worst case scenario?
Well, he didn't break law in Japan, right? So would
He
he?
didn't break law in Japan, but would would they try to prosecute him here, or would it be easier to make it go away by sending him back to Japan? And if he gets prosecuted here, how many years does he get for illegal gambling?
Well, it's illegal gambling and it's stealing $4.5 million. It's that piece. It's that piece also.
I
So I
mean, but the
mean,
stealing of $4.5 million, Otani could just drop charges.
I don't know. Well, I don't know. It's I don't know. To me, it's unfortunately, I think to your point, like you said in the beginning, um, I'm not really sure that we will ever find out the real truth. Now, the problem you do have though is this is not Major League Baseball.
Mm-hmm.
This is the Feds,
It's
and
the
when
feds.
when the Feds come knocking on your door, I don't know how much Major League Baseball could say, "Hey, look, you can do whatever you want to do in this house, but don't look in that one room over there." You know what
But,
I'm saying?
but
That type of
if,
thing.
but is the feds after Ipe or are they after the bookie? So there's a deal for Ipe to make there because they're after the bookie.
True, Ipe
So
could go ahead and make some kind of a hey Titus, how you doing, buddy? Ipe could make some kind of deal and say, "Hey, I'll give you all the information and cop a plea deal." You're 100% correct.
so
I
like
I I don't disagree with that at all.
I don't know what's the outcome for him.
Yeah.
I mean, the outcome if we go to the basketball side to Porter from the Raptors, he's going to jail.
That was just stupid, man.
But
I mean,
hear
that's
me out. Hear me out, Michael. We are condemning people for gambling when all these leagues are now sponsored by DraftKings, and this game is brought to you on ESPN Bets, and we got the FanDuel Fantasy Draft, and all of these betting companies that you are now in as a league are in business with. But you player, you don't bet. You player, don't bet on other leagues or other things. You player definitely don't bet on your team. You're going to ruin the integrity of the game. How much integrity does this game have when we've seen referees bet and get
yep,
caught betting on games?
yep.
We already when the over under is
Hey, Frank.
announced during the game, before the game, pre-game talk show, during the game. There's a segment on ESPN after the games on bad beats.
Yep.
You're talking about so. We're staunch against betting on one hand, but we're all for giving your money when it comes to betting on the other hand, as these leagues are.
Oh yeah, I
You
mean
know,
it's a fine line to walk, but I mean, but for instance, and I know it's not the same thing, but for instance, it's like in Colorado, marijuana's legal,
mm-hmm.
but your company can still have a policy that says, "Hey, you're not allowed to use it, and we can
Right?
fire you for using it." Right? So I mean, because
Yeah, but
I
is your
can
company
understand how
getting
they
money from the marijuana companies?
well, no, that's what I'm saying. That's why I said it's not like it, but but that's the piece right there. That's the hook. That's the part that you have the biggest problem is you're telling me that I'm not allowed to do this, but yet you're taking money from them.
And
So it's okay for you to go ahead and get money on fans thinking I'm going to succeed or fail,
mm-hmm.
but it's not okay for me. Now, I personally think it should be, look, you can't bet on your sport. And if you want, and to me, it should be like cut and dry, period, the end. If you bet on the sport you're playing, you are banned for life. There is no reinstatement. You are done. So if you want to bet on soccer, go right ahead. If you want to bet on who wins the coin toss on in the Super Bowl, go right ahead. You want to bet on golf, NASCAR, basketball, any other sport, go right ahead. The sport you play on, though, you bet on one game, you bet on anything that has to do with that game, you're done for good. To me, that's what they should do. That to me, that's like the only fair thing per se.
I see that being a fair thing they can do, but then you get into the where did Calvin Ridley sign? I think it was like the biggest odds for him to sign with the team he signed with. Then you get the friend of a friend of a friend of a friend of a friend makes the bet. So it's
Yeah,
just slippery slope either way.
I agree. I agree because exactly to your point, a friend of a friend, again, But I think the thing is if these associations have an issue, and they think something's going on, and they get, the police or the feds or whoever involved, a lot of times they will, uh, they will follow the money. And if a friend of a friend of a friend of a friend all of a sudden bets $50,000 and the guy can't rub two nickels together to make a dime, well, then hopefully, so I think that, you still have to be careful because, those flags and everything, and, those types of things. But again, you know, to me, I don't have, if they're gonna, because these leagues are so connected with the online gambling, I just think that's the way it should be. Look, if you get caught, you want to bet away, go right ahead. I don't care. You know, I can't see how player X, and pick a player. Let's just pick a retired player, Jason Kelsey, right?
Mhm.
If Jason Kelsey, while he was playing for the Eagles, was placing bets on the Philadelphia Phillies to win or the 76ers to win, that's fine. He can't influence those games at all. But if he bet on football, no matter what, then he, then he's done. And I think that should be in any sport, no matter what sport it is. If you bet on that sport, you're done.
I think with gambling, with athletes, if you bet in your sport, you definitely should be gone. Um, but you have to have an oversight committee looking at all this stuff because you're going to have the long shots. You're going to have the casinos that lend extra to get them in debt. You're going to have, hey, midget wrestling is wrestling.
That's
Okay.
it. Micro and first it's micro wrestling. Tell you, do micro wrestling on IG. There, you see some of that crap. It's incredible. But never mind. All right, there, Adam. Have yourself a great night. Thanks for
Thanks for
stopping
coming
by.
by, Adam.
Appreciate it. I don't know. It's an interesting thing. You know, I I mean, I get it. You know that they don't want betting at all, but to me, again, I think if you would, I think see once you go ahead and, in my opinion, and I don't want to use the Otani thing as anything. So let's just pick, some other athlete. Again, like a Jason Kelsey. Let's take a guy who's retired like that, right? Again, would it be what's a better look? Jason Kelsey, or let's just say, professional football player making the bets himself on basketball or hockey or baseball, or him getting his cousin to go ahead and do it.
I mean, again, betting on other sports is probably the best way.
Yeah.
But then that's also got to go in the collective bargaining agreement.
I agree.
It's a lot of negotiations. Now I'm talking about with TV deals, with the money from the bets. The Best Player Association, in June, Dom.
In June. Hey, my birthday's in June too.
So
I'm June 23rd.
I'm June 27th.
Oh, great.
It's dumb. We all off track. No, I think that if when these collective bargaining comes up, this stuff needs to be on the table. Justin Steele's winning the Cy Young, and I see that.
Justin Steele. Wow. So
he should have won it last year. Blake Snell didn't. How many times did Blake Snell pitch in the 7th inning?
I don't think Blake Snell pitched in this unless he came in relief. I don't think Blake Snell pitched in the 7th inning at all last year.
And I love Blake Snell. Like, I've watched him on Twitch. He's got a great personality. But he did not pitch past 6 innings. Like,
in the National League, so Dom is going with Luzardo and Grayson Rodriguez.
Two good picks.
As much as it pains me, I think National League will be, one of the guys from the lead guy from the baseball team that plays in Georgia. I just think
Strider.
Yeah,
that's a Strider.
Yeah, him. In the American League, I like Logan Gilbert with Seattle. Yeah.
So you're an American League guy or a National League guy?
I'm a National League guy. I'm a New York Mets. I'm a New York Mets guy. I'm a National League guy. I
missed the pitcher in the 9th spot. I missed the easy out.
Yep. Kirby might be better, but I get to pick who I want to pick, Lawkin. You could pick who you want to pick.
And Seattle's got some heaters.
They do.
They're like, how many bad teams in MLB is it this year? That's like 5, 6, maybe. It's gonna be a good year to watch baseball to see. There's not a lot of bad teams.
No, there's not. There's a lot of guy. Oh, Gallen. Yeah, Gallen is a guy who could go ahead and
Gallen's a guy. Stuff. Montez is a guy.
I mean, hey, Dylan Cease.
Burns is a guy with Baltimore too.
Yeah, and Dylan Cease moving to San Diego. I mean, San Diego could go ahead and they could do they could be pretty decent. They got plenty of bats.
White Sox pitchers historically don't do well once they get traded from the White Sox.
You're not wrong, man.
Historically, they don't do well when they get traded. Bad teams, Mets, Royals, I don't think Pirates are a bad team. With O'Neal Cruz coming back, I don't think Pirates are a bad team.
The Giants are definitely not a bad team.
Not a bad team.
No way.
White Sox are a bad team.
Corbin in Baltimore is going to be nuts. Oof. I mean, that's another team. We're talking about, Baltimore from a standpoint of it's amazing that Jackson Holiday still is not going to come up for a while. And you got to think that has to do with control.
No, I don't think it's to do with control as much as to do what do we do with Mount Council and Courtney Krauser. Making room, because when he's going up, he's going to stay up. They have a lot of good talent.
That's true.
And they are going to have to make some trades and trade some of that talent. So,
and the funny thing is they didn't give. I mean, they really didn't give that much to Milwaukee.
Right. So there's a. I think this is a more let's see how the first 2 months go. If we can position ourselves to trade some prospects, during the trade deadline, bring up Holiday mid season in May, and give them the push, because I think it's less about control, more about depth.
True. Yeah, they do have, like you're saying, it's a it is amazing the amount of young talent that they have been able to, between drafting and and helping develop. I would think honestly,
think so.
I would think Mountcastle has got to be for sure on the trade block at some point in time. Just because they got to. I mean, they have so much. They have too much damn young talent. Santander is in his last year, but I mean, they still have, they still have, plenty of guys. I mean, losing him is not that big of a deal. I mean, honestly, I'm not saying he's not a good player. Don't go ahead and twist my words. But I mean, when you look at what they can replace him with, like Santander, you could take Santander and Mountcastle, put them together, and you could get a good pitcher, I bet.
Yeah, so they have their top 5 prospects are Jackson Holiday, Samuel Baseo, Colton Cowser, Kobe Mayo, and Houston Kissat.
Right.
So, they have a depth problem getting all this young talent up.
Yep. Dom, that would that would suck, Dom, because no, I don't want that. I want Alonso has to wear blue and orange forever. Yes, Mullins is still in Baltimore. That's what I'm saying. They are young. They are good. They are going to be around. They have a lot of those guys. I don't think now they haven't done what a lot of other teams have done, unless I've missed something. Like, I don't remember them, doing like the Bobby Witt or the Julio Rodriguez, or even what they're talking about, like with Will Smith. I don't think they've done any of those. Hey, early contracts, locking these guys up for many years. I don't think they've done that with those guys.
No, they haven't.
And they probably wouldn't, because of the old owner. The old owner was as cheap as cheap could be.
Yeah, I don't think that sale, the new owners don't get full control of the team until the old owner dies, right?
I'm not sure. I don't know, but I thought Peter Angelos did die.
Yeah, he might have.
I'm not sure.
So they might be in control now. Yeah, I mean,
it doesn't
Jackson Holiday play? Is
shortstop, right?
Yeah, he plays shortstop, and they have Gunnar Henderson.
Gunner's playing third.
He's playing third?
Yeah.
So then who do you have? Westberg's the shortstop, which he could take Westberg's spot. Westberg's he's a serviceable MLB player.
Yep.
Council's at first. Urias is a second baseman, I believe. Or Mateo.
Well, they got that other kid. What's that kid's name? What is that kid? You mentioned his name. Was it not Kobe Mayo of the
Colton Cowser?
Huh?
Colton Cowser?
No, but don't they have this other kid?
Kierstad?
No. Damn it, I'll have to look it up. I forgot who it was. Baltimore had this other kid that supposedly they were very high on, who's an infielder. Connor Norby. Connor
Oh,
Norby is another kid that they like, who's a second baseman, outfielder. But don't forget, if you're happy with Westberg at short, you could put Holiday at second, or you can turn
true.
Westberg into a second baseman. You know?
And I think the craziest thing in baseball from a lineup standpoint is that the Padres' whole team is all former shortstops. It's like at first base.
Yeah.
Everybody's a former shortstop.
Yeah.
So
Yep. So, I don't know. Baseball, I tell you, it's going to be good this year. There's a lot of good young talent in the game. If they can, hey John, how you doing, buddy? There's a lot of good young talent in the game, uh, and I think from that standpoint, it makes it interesting. Now, again, it's a matter of teams being able to keep that talent, and let's face it, you know, some of these young guys, they're going to have to. I don't say they're going to have to, but a lot of them, they got to kind of figure out and stay where they are because what are you going to do? I mean, the big market teams, I don't how much money they have doesn't really matter when you figure you go over that like tax, and then the crushing one is just like 100% luxury
yeah,
tax fee, and you can't you can't go ahead and you can't afford to do business like that all the time.
but
Yes.
I think this is the year where you probably see another good team, young team go to the World Series. It could be Baltimore this year, like it was Arizona
Yep.
last year. These teams, ever since the Royals won the World Series, teams have been doing a better job of cultivating their talent, their farm systems to get deep in playoff runs, and make World Series, win championships without
Yep.
having to buy it. The teams who bought players, what Dodgers got one championship. A lot of players they bought.
Yep.
The Yankees haven't won anything since what their last championship. So and they with all the players they bring in and they buy.
Yep. Well, the
So
Mets are doing that now. I mean, you look at the Met. I mean, you can say what you want to say about what they did with Max Scherzer, what they did with Verlander, and what they did with Robertson last year. But you know what? It was well worth it for those guys to go ahead and be able to replenish a minor league system that was very weak. And to go ahead, you figure, and to get what, 1, 2, 3, 4, to get 4 out of your like top 10 prospects out of those 3 trades, that, you know, I like it. Big league cards are supposed to be when a rare blue, red, and gold price is high. True. Roberto Clemente gold on eBay, asking price over 225. Yeah, it is not a it's not a an inexpensive game anymore. It's not an inexpensive hobby anymore to get involved in. It's not,
I mean,
and I think we're
I
kidding ourselves if we think it is.
the we have to get more kids. We have to do this for kids. There are not a lot of people that are doing it and saying it for the sake of, hey, let's get more kids in the hobby so they can enjoy cars, enjoy collecting. It's how do we get more money into the hobby?
Yep.
I mean, big league is from a standpoint you can still buy those packs in store for $5-6 and going into retail and finding them, but you're not going to hit it. You're not going to hit anything great. I do think you know Series One, Big League are good products to have, and are products that If my son wanted to buy cards, he can take his allowance and go buy it. Or if I'm in the store and I want to pick up a pack for $15 or a hanger box for him, that's fine.
Right.
But if to enjoy collecting, but
Yep.
if you're talking about when you're worried about the how much this card sells for, you're not trying to get kids in for collecting or for
Exactly.
the enjoyment of the holiday. You're trying to make money, and it's about the money and the value.
Yep. And I agree. So and that's where the thought process has to change from, the collector hobbyist versus the investor. The investor has to realize that if they want to keep it a hobby, then blasters, megas, hanger boxes, fat packs, they can't they 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 can't put the best cards in there. I mean, and that would be great if they could, but from an investor standpoint, they're saying, look, if we want, you have to figure out if we want to keep the prices down, and have let people have an opportunity to go. I mean, the reason why you're going to see stuff on shelves is because the truth is the investor or the and to me, not a flipper, because a flipper, a lot of the people who flip cards, a lot of them use them to buy other cards and stuff like that. But when you go into, if you're going to go into Walmart, if you're going to go into Target, if you're going to go into an LCS, you know, the lower price stuff got to be that point of entry for the younger kids to be able to get into, and for parents to be able to be okay with buying that, for them. So can they put good stuff in there? Yes, I do think they can, but I understand why they're not, but I think when we were looking at what it used to be like, in 2020, 2021, when product wasn't hitting the shelves. As soon as it hit the shelf, it was in such high demand. You went in there, you cleaned your shelf off. You went ahead and, um, you you bought a hanger box, back then, NBA Mosaic with Ja and Zion, and you bought a a hanger box for 18-20 bucks, and you would turn around and selling it for 45 on eBay.
Yeah,
And I think the problem you have is that kind of stuff, isn't going to happen anymore, just because there's the value. They have changed the way the value is. The investors have come in and they have gone ahead and put so much value on numbers, autographs, patches, and so on and so forth, that it has devalued the blasters, the hangers, and that stuff. But it seems that it's devalued by, let's say, like guys like you and me, but not the guys making it, because they're still charging
the same price.
dollars.
So like the hobby is a business.
We are, Frank.
We are. I'm a Bears fan, and it's okay. I know suffering and pain because I am suffering with the thought of we getting Caleb Williams. So
Why?
why? Because I don't think he's that good. I think he's a less of a player than what Justin Fields was when he came out of college. And I think you finally put a weapons and a line around Justin Fields, and you still had 2 years to try to go win something. That's how I feel. Am I wrong? We shall see.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I, you know, what gets me, and they would talk. I was watching um Pat McAfee show, and they had Ryan Poles on, and he said the big difference you have nowadays is NIL and the top guys getting so much money. The big thing going to be now is that, hey, do they really care that much about playing football?
I don't. I get that. I don't want to hear that. Do I
Right.
think Caleb Williams doesn't care about playing football? I think he cares to make $30 million a year.
Right.
playing football. Right? He got a few million. He could not play, and let's say last year he made $10 million off of NIL. Right?
4.5. He
Four
made
point
he
five.
made
So
4.5
$5 million
million. Yeah. Maybe
is
maybe Otani gave it to him. No.
okay. Average income is under 40,000.
Yep.
So $4 million, if he spent it like a regular person, would have lasted him about 20, 30 years.
Good
The
chunk of
rest
his
of his
life.
life. If you take out taxes, put in taxes half the time. If he so I think he'd want to make 30 million a year playing a game he loved.
Correct.
And literally not having to do anything else for the
Yep.
rest of his life. Look at Aaron Donald. 10 years in the league, retired 32, 33 years old, in his prime. No matter whatever he goes and tries to do, as long as he doesn't, have an eBay taking his money from him, he should be good for the rest of his life.
He
do
definitely
whatever he wants.
Yes. Yeah. He Jay
You can't
Thompson,
tell me
what is going on?
that Aaron Donald didn't love playing football.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree. Like I said, I can, like I said, I'm just saying I can see how some of these GMs are going to have to deal with different type things now with NIL money and those types of things. You know, speaking, of, what is happening there,
Hey,
Brandon.
Brandon.
So speaking of of football and stuff, what do you think about what Deion Sanders said about his son and Travis? Did you hear what he said?
Yeah, he knows where he wants them to go,
Yeah.
even where he doesn't want them to go. I think just like Eli and his father Pan, Deion has relationships with people. He knows who are the good people and who are not the good people.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's a matter of I don't want him to play in a cold weather city. I don't want him to play in a city with a nightlife. It's I don't want you playing with this GM who is untrustworthy, who doesn't have that type of integrity that I'm used to you having. I don't want these other influences on you that could potentially damage your career. That's what I took it when I listened to it and watched it. It's like I know I want them to go. You know, I you know I'm pretty sure he'd want Shiloh and Travis to go to somewhere with a good defensive coordinator, with a good, it's going to showcase them in the right light. I'm sure he doesn't want them. I'm sure he wants his son going to a place that have a good quarterback coach and a good offensive coach and a good line, and so he has a perspective from inside the NFL because these are people he worked with while he was in the league, while he's working at NFL Network, and in college. These are people that he know in these buildings for 20, 30 years now. Deion's the type of person that if the security guard's been working there for 15 years, he probably knows that security guard still and talks to that security guard still. So I think it's a interest perspective, and people don't like it because they don't like Deion.
Yeah, I think that, and I think him going ahead and say, if it wasn't his son, I think that could, I think that adds to it rather than like I think people like if he never mentioned his son and he goes, "Hey man, Travis is a top 4 pick and I know where I want Travis to go." I still think people would think bad about it, but when you throw his son in there,
both
I think
sons.
that
Remember, he said, "Don't forget about Shiloh."
Oh yeah,
So
and he has
both
the son
sons.
also, right? So I just think from a standpoint of you know of what that does and everything, again, how far down does that go in the draft? And what I mean by that is this: if I am by all accounts, if I'm the best cornerback in the draft, even though I might not be a top 5 pick, a top 10 pick, I might not be a top 15 pick, but I am the best cornerback in the draft. Hey, I want to go where I want to go. Don't draft me because I ain't going there. You know what I'm saying? Like I just wonder how deep that goes. Like I could see, like you look at a Caleb Williams. People are saying how he's good. Now, what if all of a sudden Drake May did that? What if whoever the third quarterback people are looking at, Daniels from LSU, what if, what if he comes back and he's not the number 1 pick? What if he says, hey, you know what? Hey, New England, if May and Williams go, don't draft me because I ain't going. I just don't. I mean, I get it. Not a big fan of it. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. It's going to be interesting to see if somebody basically says, okay, hey, fine, Dion, great. Shador could go play in the UFL and then jump back in the draft, next year. That's the only way that's the only way it'll be a thing is like it's different. It's different with Bo Jackson, right? Bo was pretty damn good at baseball, right? Elway really was the first one to do it with the Colts, right? He was like, hey, don't. And he actually, talked to the Yankees and George Steinbrenner and all that kind of stuff. So from that standpoint, but I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. When does it move to basketball? When does basketball go ahead? When does it, I mean, when does this start to trickle to, like I said, to basketball? Does it trickle to sometimes? I mean, a lot of that stuff is kind of sort of trickled to baseball, especially if they get drafted, before they're a senior in college. Because, hey, I'm in high school. Go ahead and draft me if you want, but I'm going to go play college.
Yep.
And you're going to lose your pick and stuff like that. And you'll have to get a supplemental pick next year. So, from that
But
standpoint.
isn't it did they ever have it with basketball with Kobe? That's why they did the draft day trade. So
They did.
LA?
He did.
Because
Yeah,
he
he
wouldn't want
did.
to go to Charlotte?
Right. He said he did not want to play for Charlotte. 100%
So
correct.
listen,
Yeah.
we're in a time where the athletes have more negotiating power than the teams.
But
it's just simple as that.
But I was watching Get Up the other day, and Booger McFarland said one thing though, and he said, "I go ahead and I get it." He said, "But just remember one thing: big bank always beat little bank, and the owners got the big bank, and they're gonna win more than they are gonna lose, from that standpoint." New kickoff rules. I did see the new kickoff rules. So
I have mixed feelings about that.
They are adopting the XFL rules as
Yes.
their kickoff rule. I don't know. I mean, I haven't watched. I mean, look, I can't really judge it too much because I have not gone ahead and watched a lot of XFL to see, what it's like. Does it at least add an element? Like, like to me, what I don't understand is this. What's the incentive for still not just kicking the ball out of the end zone?
Because it goes to the 35-yard line.
So they moved it up.
Moved it up 10 yards.
But they've also now taken the onside kick out of it. They basically have taken the onside kick out of the game.
Yeah, but how many times do you get an onside kick that's not in the fourth quarter?
No, you're 100% correct. But now what has to happen is you have to tell the other team you're going to onside kick. You're going to attempt it. So I think it just means that it has to stay the greatest kick returner ever in history. That's what I think. You're not wrong. It's going to be hard. I don't like, I don't know. I guess from a standpoint of the one thing that it does do is if you do have a guy who is fast back there, with everybody basically being in that short piece, if you're fortunate and you get by, it's going to be hard for someone to stop them.
We'll see how it goes in preseason.
Yeah,
I think
it's going to be interesting. I'm looking forward to seeing what it's like.
so Caitlin Clark got the offer from the Big Three for $5 million to play. I think that's awesome.
Yeah, I did. She got $5
I
million.
think
They offered her $5 million.
I think that's awesome of Ice Cube. I think that's awesome of the league
Yep.
because you have so many athletes that have to go overseas to make money, and they're making more than their WNBA contract for going overseas playing in the summer. And the Big Three, it was a 10-game contract.
Yep.
You played 3 games of 3-on-3 and 2 playoff games. 8 games regular season. That's less chance of injury. 3-on-3 is a wide open game. You get to showcase your skills better. So I think if he's going to offer this to more female athletes, I think the WNBA, especially with them wanting to separate from the NBA some, it is a great thing for them. It keeps more of the women here at home with their families during the offseason. And it's before the season starts. It's well before the WNBA season starts. So it's workouts, conditioning, and it's 10 games.
Yeah.
To make $100,000 for 10 games, $5 million for 10 games. That's I'm here. 10
I'm
games.
sorry. Where do I sign? Where do I sign that contract? Just get it to me quick. But you're right, and to me, I think that would go ahead. I think that could help the WNBA just to go ahead and have, the players from that league be watched a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
Now that is a big, the Big Three league would be taking a big chance, right? Because that nobody really watches the WNBA. If they not watch because the basketball's not that good, if they don't watch it because the basketball's not that good, and you bring those players in, it could be bad. Now, from a WNBA standpoint, though, Big John, it could be a nightmare. Because if you get these guys that were college guys,
that's the thing,
and they beat the crap out of them, it looks bad.
The Big Three is mostly comprised of retired NBA players.
Okay.
So one, there's a respect level there because like Amari Stoudemire plays in there, Raymond Felton. So you have over the hill, basketball players playing in the league. Like Steven Jackson played in 1 year. So you just to give these retired players some money in their pocket. They do travel ball for retired players is what the best way to put it as. And they sell out when they go places. They sell out. They was in Providence last summer and sold out. Right? They got a small TV contract.
Do they just play in one area, or do they
play one area a
weekend? Country?
They play one area a weekend.
Okay. So all the teams go to that area that weekend and they play?
And they play, yeah. They play 3 games and they go. So again, it's 8 regular season games, 2 playoff games, and there you go. And you get coaching. You get like Charles Oakley's the coach, so you get to be around some Hall of Famers to coach for 10 games. You get the camaraderie, and then I think the WNBA players will be well respected playing in that because it's a wide open game. They have a 4-point ball. It's a shooter. If you can shoot, you can shoot.
Right.
It's not as physical as the NBA. There's not a lot of screens being set where you're going to see her running into somebody, 6'8", 230 and knocking on the ground. It's a game that can be played, and it's basketball. It's what they grew up playing. Let me go out to the neighborhood court and play with the boys and get some shots up more than trying to be in the NBA.
I mean, like I said, I think it would be definitely worth the WNBA, doing it. But again, I'll go back to what I said is I think it's hard for them because if the women don't produce and they're playing against these, once supreme athletes who are now still good basketball players, but they're some of them are, they're older, they're the older generation of guys. I just think it has the potential to kind shine a little bit of a negative light on people who already say, "Man, look, the WNBA stinks to begin with." Right? That their basketball was crap,
I
and now you want them to play against the guys that's going to look like more crap. So I'm just saying, like, don't get me wrong, like saying, but I think it's something that they need to go ahead and do it because they need more people out there. They need more names out there. These ladies have to not go overseas. They need to stay here. If the NBA is not drawing the money, right, drawing in the crowds and the money to pay them a lot more money to where they have to play, let's say, a second season per se, then why not have them involved in a league that is at least on
U.S.
in
soil.
this country? They're not having to go away from that standpoint. They're not having to leave this country to go play.
I think the positives outweigh the negatives, and I think the people who don't watch WNBA won't watch don't watch the big three either.
Yeah.
I don't think the segment of people. I don't think those segments cross. If you're just an NBA guy, you've probably never sat home on a Saturday and watched the big three in the summer.
Right.
You've probably just seen clips of it on ESPN, but you same as if you've probably never been to a WNBA game.
Right.
So I think for the WNBA, it's a chance to get embarrassed. But these are the same players who think they can compete against the NBA. Brittany Griner once said at the Olympics that she could beat Boogie Cousins in a one-on-one. So
And she's fooling herself, but that's okay.
that's okay.
But that's okay. But I think but to your point, it's a big gamble. But to me, it is a worthy gamble. To me, I
Mm-hmm.
think it is worthy for them to go ahead and give that a shot. So Dom, you say whoever's saying WNBA stinks is wrong in your opinion. There are a lot of people out there who don't think it's good basketball. There's a lot. I mean, I'm just saying there is. You hear about it. I mean, if it's good basketball, then why aren't more people going? Because it has to be more affordable than the NBA.
Oh, the Connecticut Sun gives out tickets all the time. It is easy to get a ticket to a WNBA game.
Right.
And it's easy to go. It's not expensive at all.
Exactly.
But I mean, you have a segment of people who, no matter what, will not support women's sports, right?
Yeah, yeah. I have two daughters, and when they, we both, we are, they were sports. They were, they were at one time were basketball and softball, and they kind of gave up basketball, and they played, softball and everything. So, I mean, I don't, I mean, I get it what you're saying,
Yeah.
from that standpoint. But I mean, you're right. There are people out there who will look at it and won't look at it. And I think, part of it becomes an expectation, that, you see what the guys do in the NBA and you're like, for crying out loud, you're the WNBA. If you're supposed to be the greatest women, why aren't you doing the same thing? And it's like, because they can't for the most part. There are certain things that they can do the exact same as the guys. There are things that they can't. Like to me, make the rim 9 foot tall. If you could go ahead and get a few more people like dunks and stuff like that, it is an exciting part of the game. If you can add that, even if there's only a handful of players that can do it, at least you can, at least it can be done.
I will say, like, with Steph Curry has made WNBA way more watchable because of the excitement, how everybody's about the ability to be able to shoot.
Yep.
Him and Sabrina at the 3-point contest because she can shoot.
Yep.
Okay, she can, and Caitlin Clark can shoot.
Oh yeah.
She can play. Um, you know, March Madness. I haven't watched one man's game. I've watched 2 Gamecock women's games. I'm excited to see Gamecocks play. I'm excited to see LSU play. I want to see Iowa play. Their game is easier to watch.
Yep.
Like, men's college basketball has not evolved in 30 years.
Correct.
It's the same sets, same boring play, same 3-man weaves. It has not evolved. The the women's game has, and it's a lot more fun to watch.
What the one thing that I always liked about watching it from my perspective is, even though I cannot do what they do, I think I can, like if I practiced. Whereas I know there's no way in hell I could do what the men's do and what the guys in the NBA do, no matter how much I practice, because I'm still just a 5'9", white guy. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? And look, I'm just telling you what it is, right? I just think, like, hey, the women's league, they dribble, they shoot. There's nobody slam dunking. They're hitting layups and so on and so forth. So in my stupid mind, I think, hey, if I were to practice a whole bunch, I could do those things. But I look and I go, wow, look what Wemby's doing. Yeah, sorry, I'm not going to be. I'm not 7'2". Wow, look what LeBron's doing. I'm not 6'9", 280 pounds. So that's, again, even though I know I can't do what the ladies do, like I could never play horse against Caitlin Clark and think that it wouldn't be me having horse and her having not any letters. You know what I mean? Like she'd have to let me have one.
But have you seen her card prices?
Good. What?
Have you seen her card prices?
Oh, ridiculous!
Like, they are insane.
Ridiculous. I brought skin coloring because that's what I am. I didn't say anything bad about anybody.
Nah, yeah, it wasn't really necessarily about skin color. It's more, it was about I just can't do it.
Right.
This is my genetics.
It's in my genetics. I mean, look, it's just the way it is. How many? I mean, not just look around the leagues. A 5'9" white guy probably has a better shot at baseball than he does basketball. That's just fact.
5'9", anything has a better shot at baseball than basketball.
Well, that's true.
I mean, we got Altuve. I don't care how good Altuve could shoot. He would never make it.
He would never make it in the NBA. No, you're right. You're right.
Mean, we all know baseball is the hardest sport to play anyway.
Exactly. But I just think, for one thing I said, from a standpoint of is that, I like the idea. I would like to see the NBA, the WNBA do it. I think it potentially could, could be beneficial to them. Doing it the right, but you got to have the best of the best go to start, right? You got to have Caitlin Clark. You got to have, Sabrina go. You have to have, the top players go and get involved. So then it brings more eyes to it. And they're saying, wow, if these are the types of players they got here in 3-on-3, I wonder what players they still have in the league. And I think more, I think people would go, or at least people would, potentially, tune in and watch.
I mean, I think the best that they can hope for is the and one effect. You remember early 2000 when and one got people excited about street ball, which through the summer got people excited about seeing Allen Iverson, Steve Francis dribble in the league. And if they can have that effect, that's good. Frank Spudwell and Nate Robinson are the exception to the rule.
They are friggin' freaks.
They were freak athletes to be that little and be able to legitimately jump their height to dunk.
Shit, you're right. I never really thought. I honestly never really thought about it like that. But you're right.
They jump their height.
He jumped their height. Damn. Yeah. And then you have guys like Manute Bol who didn't even have to jump.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So I think Dom asked me earlier who have I been collecting.
Yeah, who have you been collecting? What are you collecting now? I know you got some sick ass Kobe White card.
I'm still collecting Kobe White. I've sold a couple because I'm trying to get into a good prism of them. I've picked up some Ayo Dusumo because he's again another under the radar. Been picking up wrestling.
What do you think about him overall?
What I think of what I want. Because I think he's a great young player. I think he could be the next in the line of the Luol Deng, Jimmy Butler types, where they started off playing defense and grew into their offense.
Yeah.
Because he's got energy, he's tenacious, and you think the last 3 games he put up 30 points. Like he can explode. And as up and down as the Bull season has been, not having Lonzo Ball, not having Levine, you get to see these young kids play.
Right.
And, my biggest critique of Patrick Williams is that he doesn't rebound for his size.
He's been a disappointment.
Huh?
He's been a disappointment.
But you see Andre Drummond, who can rebound, getting 15, 20 rebounds a game, which allows Vucevic to
like
play.
40 years old or something like
that.
Yeah. He's been around forever.
I think, that's what I think. I think that, we're looking year 5, year 6, and he and AO and Kobe have come into that offense. And they're we're like, are they Jordan sons? They're like Butler first 4 years was just defense.
Yep.
So all he wants is defense.
Yeah.
And look at him now. At fourth quarter come, I'm prime. Whoever you want to say, playoff time, fourth quarter, prime Jordan, prime Kobe, prime whatever. He's gonna get a bucket.
Yeah. And I think I think from a Chicago standpoint, Levine and Ball getting hurt, not being able to play, a little bit of a blessing in disguise, because with the way Kobe is playing, AO would not have been given much of an opportunity if those other 2 guys were there.
So let's be fair. 2 points. I don't think Levine is hurt.
But he's not playing.
Yeah. And Billy Donovan can coach younger players. I don't think he can coach vets. And that team was too vet heavy with Ball and Levine, too with Rosen, Vucevic. I think having that personality Levine out, because everybody else is fun-loving on that team. And I just think he's able to get his message out without having that rotten apple in the locker room. Now, I don't think he's a great coach, but I know for a fact that if you got a young team, he can coach them. Michael Jordan.
Wilt Chamberlain.
I don't argue with that point, but it's Michael Jordan.
Wilt Chamberlain, they changed rules because of Wilt Chamberlain. They didn't change any rule because of Michael Jordan.
I mean, they changed rules because of Shaq.
One little friggin' rule, a hack and a fact. Come on now.
I'm just saying.
How much of Wilt
Chamberlain's legacy is true, though?
They changed the free throw rule because of Wilt Chamberlain. They changed the size of the lane. Why? Because of Wilt Chamberlain. At one time, they outlawed dunks. Why? Because of Wilt Chamberlain.
Well, because he said he's the only one that could dunk.
So they changed the rule. They still changed the rules, But to me, the greatest champion is Bill Russell. The guy had more rings than fingers.
And he got one as a player coach.
And he got one as a player coach, too.
He got one as a player coach while been active in the civil rights movement. So
Yeah.
that's a lot.
Bird, I tell you, he, I I think he is underappreciated, in my opinion, because his injury took him out of the game before he should have gone out of the game. It made him change. But when you look at some of the things he does, and if you watch videos of other players talking about playing against him, they're like it was terrible at times because he would tell you what he was going to do, then he would do it and everything. I mean, he was that good. Larry, I think, is an underappreciated player. I think Larry is closer to a top 5 all-time player than he is where a lot of people have him ranked.
I have him top 20. I think Larry Bird was great a player individually. I think he was greater because he was surrounded by Hall of Famers everywhere on his team for years.
Yeah, but
I think
even with that,
Larry Bird and Kawhi
he was
Leonard's
still
career
the
are the
leader.
same.
But he was still the leader.
I think Larry Bird and Kawhi Leonard's careers are the same. They did good while they were young because they had Hall of Famers around them. And I think if Larry Bird wouldn't have got injured, got his own team, he would have got him one without having all the Hall of Famers around him. Kawhi came in the league. He had Tony Parker, Manu Ginobili, and Tim Duncan.
Right.
All winning championships.
But he didn't have anybody.
Got one after him.
He didn't have anybody in Toronto.
I said he got one after him. I believe
okay.
Bird would have got one. If he would have got
you.
hurt, Bird would have got one after it.
I got you.
Run DMC.
Run DMC. I loved watching those guys.
So here's the question for the chat: who's the best player? Who's the best player now in the NBA? You can check her out. Is it LeBron? Is it Joker? Is it Embiid? Like, who's the best player now? Because this year, Shea should be the MVP.
Yeah, I was gonna say Shea is like, overall, I think it's Joker. Because I think he looks at the game, and I think if for whatever reason, if they need him to score, he could score. If they need him to pass, he passes. They need him to get a rebound here or there, he could do it and everything. Like, I don't necessarily, when I look at Embiid and everything, I don't look at him as saying, like, when he gets on the court, if he could be that, that assist type guy who is facilitating, being at the top of the key. I just see, don't get me wrong, I think overall, I think Embiid is let's say an overall better scorer than Joker. But I think overall basketball player, I think, I do think it's Joker.
I think Joker is on autopilot. I think that team has been together for so long. They've been in that system so long. He knows that system in and out. He's no longer thinking. He's in instant transmission mode when he's on the court. The ball is going to go here. If I don't want to go here, it's going to go there, there, or there. And I think, he's from a mental standpoint of understanding the game and his team. He's up there with LeBron from a mental standpoint of what's going to happen, and that helps his skill level because he just knows.
But it's so funny watching him because he looks so freaking slow.
Yeah,
I mean, you look at him and you go, "Come on, man! How are you doing what you're doing? Like a sloth looks like it moves faster than you." Sometimes, I mean, it's it's just like, damn,
But Joker cards don't sell.
No, they don't.
Joker
doesn't. I mean, look, there's still only a certain number of guys that sell and everything. I don't think you're going to see Embiid. I don't think you're going to see Embiid go ahead and sell that well if he's going to continue to get hurt and all this other kind of stuff. Curry's going to sell. LeBron's going to sell. Shea, I'd be surprised
Shea
if we
sells.
don't start to see Shea's values in cards, start to move up.
No, he sells.
You know,
But
Chet sells, Wemby sells.
I think with NBA
Mhm.
and it's like NFL, it's all height, and that height can take your rookie cards 3-4 seasons.
Yep.
Right? You can still go up because I mean, if Zion makes it to the NBA Finals, his card's going to go right back up to 2020 prices. All the Zions people are sitting on that have gone major now, he makes it to the finals this year, they're going to 2020 prices. Luka, he goes to the finals, back to 2020 prices.
Yep.
I think if you're a player who has height coming out the first 4 years, your prices are only going to go down if you are bad like Zion was because he got injured and overweight, but they're not going to drastically fall. And I base that off of me being able to still buy Kobe White PSA 10s for under $20. Autos under $20.
Yep.
He's playing well. He's want to be the most improved player, but he's didn't have height coming out of his rookie season. And even this year when he's had the height, his prices didn't jump. Like Snapstock did something earlier this year when his prices jumped that his PSA 10 Prism Silver went up 100%. But that's easy. That card went from $10 to $20. It didn't go from 50 to 100. It went up $10 more.
Right.
It's not as valuable as the percentage may seem.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, again, I sold a couple of my autos for 100% profit, but I moved those into more Kobe Whites.
Yeah,
I just want to get things that I am more inclined to have and a chance to upgrade.
Yep. So let me ask you a question. When you talk about values along those lines, what do you think is going to happen? All right, everybody's saying LeBron, Jordan, 1 and 2 in some order, right? Right. I mean, that's what people say. LeBron retires. Do you think his cards will maintain the value as Jordan's has over time?
Somewhat. Because his rookie cards are not as easy to obtain, especially his rookie autos. The 1-on-1 of the just got pulled and auctioned off went for $114,000 in PWCC. That's not chump change, and I am thrilled for the seller.
Yeah.
Just because he's a friend of mine, so I'm just thrilled for him.
Really?
Get that out. Yeah.
That's pretty damn cool. Was he a friend like that as close to where you live, so you could actually put your hands on the card and see the card?
No, he is a hobby friend that I met when I first came back in the hobby. He's a great eBayer.
Oh, very cool.
We've just gotten cool and close over time.
Nice.
So I'm happy for him with that because he's a Jordan fan. So he's like, it's got to go. And whatever it sold for, it didn't really matter to him because it sold. So I'm definitely happy for him. But that's $114,000 card. That's a good price for a 1-on-1 LeBron auto in year 20.
Yeah.
I agree. You can't find rookie autos. You can't find so I think his prices will stay steady. And if it's either way, if it declines or increases, you won't see that percentage is going to be steady either way. So it won't go from down 5% yearly, and it won't go up 5% yearly, but it may go up 1%, down 1%. It's just going to be steady.
Yeah, I can see that.
Because what is a Jordan rookie card going for now in a PSA 10? A couple $100,000?
Probably.
But that's what it trades at almost every time it sells. It still trades at the same value.
Yeah.
So you're not the seller's not necessarily making money off that card. He's probably selling it to move into a different card.
Right.
So I think it's just going to continue to go.
Yeah. I
Um,
mean, yeah. I mean, I think I think you're right there from that standpoint. I think, yeah, I think he has a good shot at maintaining. Um, I think when you look at the rookie cards, you know, back then they really didn't sign when Jordan was having, right? So I think
mhm.
it's just like in my opinion, I think it's kind of hard to um compare the rookie RPA that you can get for LeBron versus the Michael rookie, right? When you really couldn't get an RPA, out of Fleer in '86, right? You know what I'm saying from that standpoint. So I could see how people can look at the LeBrons being, holding that value because of the autograph and because of back then it would have been a game used product,
Yeah.
you
I
know.
think when you talk about these type of players, these GOAT type players, Curry, LeBron, Mike, you need a lifetime significant occurrence to happen. Like Kobe prices didn't jump until Kobe died. Then they jumped a little bit when he went into the Hall of Fame,
True.
right? LeBron prices won't jump again until he goes into the Hall of Fame. Or they won't go down drastically unless something off the court happens to tarnish his legacy.
Right.
So I just think, you know, if you have the money, the safe buy is always a go. If you don't have that type of money, you're going to prospect to try to get into that type of money.
Well, Frank, when you were a kid, weren't they just shooting into peach baskets for basketball?
The Bedard Young Gun bounty is good to see.
Yeah, yeah.
I've learned a lot about hockey.
I tell you, it's good for hockey,
Hmm?
but it's gonna suck for hockey because what's gonna happen is hockey, unfortunately, will not maintain uh, the way basketball and football prices have. Meaning the only
Right.
reason why the prices are where they are is because of Bedard right now, right? His young gun, then what? Probably in series two, they'll have his rookie card, his official rookie card, I think.
Yeah.
Right.
So
After that, next year, they're not going to be able to charge $300 or $400 for series one.
I
Because there's
like
no
that
Bedard.
has to change. This is why I like Star Wars. I like Star Wars. I like Bowman, and I like WWE cards. Right. I'm not worried. I'm only worried about the first logo on a Bowman,
Yep.
and so I don't. When in Star Wars, WWE, those cards, if it's a fire card, low number card, autograph card, they're always going to be worth money.
Right. But what I'm saying though is from a hockey perspective, Upper Deck has to cash in while they can this year or next year, right? You know, unless next year they figure something else to do because you think about it, you know, you only can get patches, autographs in their higher end stuff. It's like pulling an autograph out of an Upper Deck hobby box is super hard, very rare.
The negative part about the Bedard hype that it's a race to the bottom.
True.
If you put a Bedard, you put it on eBay, and you just hope no other auctions are ending around the time yours is ending.
Right. Right.
I
True.
pulled the blue rookie and stars. When I pulled the day I pulled it, it was going for one. From the last set was $200. The 2 weeks in that I sold it for 75,
Mm.
and everything else was trading at 75. So it's Bedard's a race to the bottom.
No, the bounty card has not been hit yet. It's not just the young gun, it's the one of one young gun. So that's the one of one young gun. Yeah, no, it has not been hit at this point in time. You know,
So,
I mean,
what are
yeah,
your thoughts?
that's a no brainer to go ahead and sell.
What are your thoughts on there being so many one-on-ones?
I don't like it.
Like, does
I
every
don't like
product need a one of one? You
it.
you want?
No,
I think
I don't think any product. Well, see, well, I guess yes. I know it's going to be crazy. I'm going to say yes, but yes, I think so. And the only reason why I say I think each product should have a one of one is because certain people only like to collect certain things. Like, so for instance, there should be Bowman one of ones and there should be Tops one of ones because there are some people who go, I only do Bowman. I don't like Tops. There are people who go, I don't like Bowman. I only like Tops, right? So to me, I can see it, but to me, it should be like one. It shouldn't be, hey, you can get this insert has a one of one, this insert has a one of one, this insert has a one of one, and then the next thing you know, you have 45 or 50 one of ones for a player. To me, like if top flagship, there should be one. For Bowman, there should be one. For Dynasty or Inception, there should be, one. Not the potential to get four different kinds of one of
the
one.
super factor, the gold one-on-one, the black one-on-one, the nebula.
Boom.
My problem with the one-on-one is that it's the same exact image. Just you only made one in this color. That's my problem. Like, so here's the point, right? This Montez Ford is to 49. This one's to 99. So they're the same thing, just in different colors.
Right. And the patch is even the
and
same.
Yeah, and the one of one is just a different color of the same image with the
Yeah.
same patch. So, if let's make it truly valuable, let's make it truly something. So this one of one is also going to be an image variation. It
Yeah.
is literally the only one. That was the exciting part about the LeBron Dual Auto because it was the only one in that product.
Yes.
There's not any variations of it whatsoever. And I think more products should have a one of one that is just one of one, whether it is and not even of every player. That's if this Connor Bedard Young Guns is a one of one image variation. This is the only card like it in the pack. There's no other colors, there's no other numbered, there's no images like this one. Then that's why we have $1 million diamond on it.
Yep. And to me, every one of one should be an autograph. It should be an on-card auto.
Yeah.
To me, I mean, because if you're going to make it special, make it special.
Because you do have that. You have the one-on-one super factor non-auto and the one-on-one super factor auto.
Exactly.
The only difference is one's auto.
One auto. I mean, I think it was Scotty B Cards did this whole thing about one of ones, and unfortunately, he used Wanda Franco as an example. But Wanda Franco, at the time, Wanda Franco in his rookie year had over 200 different one of ones cards.
That's like Wemby now. Wemby has over 100 one of ones now.
Yeah.
It's
like I said, I don't like it. I think, to me, the one of one special I like, but again, I do think each product should have one because again, certain people don't, can't afford to buy, Inception, or they can't afford to buy, Sapphire, something like that, So I'm okay with, let's say, MLB, Topps flagship having, a black superfractor, auto, gold, whatever color they want to choose. I don't really give it. I don't care what color it is, but the same color, just make it across the board with an image variation and an autograph patch. To be honest with you, I don't even care anymore. No one cares about patches anymore because you don't, player worn, game used, or just not from any event. Who really cares? But to me, there should be one, not like you said, not one with an auto, one without an auto. One this, one that. No. So
You
I
brought
do
up
think there should
Inception.
be at least one.
You brought up Inception, and that is the baseball product I hate the most. I do not like Inception. I think it's overpriced for what I think it's a low end product disguised as a high end product.
It is when you actually finally get the cards
Mm,
in your hand. Like I joined a couple of breaks because I couldn't
mm,
afford to buy a whole box. So I just wanted this, I wanted to get a couple of Mets cards from it. And then you look at it and you go, this is
yeah,
worth that kind of money? You got to be kidding me. There's nothing
yeah.
special about this card.
I don't think there's anything. The designs, the colors are cool, but for the price you pay for it, I don't think I'd rather have flagship.
Right. Yep, exactly. That's what you're we're in total agreement with you, Brandon. I mean, I pulled one of one myself.
Mm-hmm.
It's a Lou Bob, Luis Robert, one of one out of 2022 Topps Holiday.
Nice.
But to your point, it's the same exact image as the base card. It just has a gold border around it and one on the back.
Lou Bob, I need to pick up some more of him. I think he's gonna have a good year this year.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
his
Again,
image variation from Holiday goes like $300.
yeah, yeah. 7 cards for 1,000. It is crazy. It is
Yeah.
absolutely crazy. Well, it's even almost like even on the lower end crap. Now this archives signature one card going for like $90 a box.
Oh,
I was
with a
watching.
$5 card.
I was watching, and well, RGL had his free, break and everything. One of the cards pulled out of that box was Ty France. Ty France. You're gonna pay $90. I don't care. It better be a 1-of-1, but it wasn't. But I don't give a crap what it is. You're gonna pay. You're gonna walk into your LCS, drop $100 on the counter. You're gonna open that some bitch up, and you're gonna pull a Ty France. Damn, that's a bad day.
I'm never buying an archive or a one card product ever again.
I
And because there's no value in it. I bought a Topps archive product in a break with one of my breaks. And it was a good price, like $60 to get in. But I got like a $10 card.
right. Yeah.
It's, and not even that it was $10 card, it was 2 tubes. So, I don't even know what movie 2 tubes is even in. So at least give me, a good character that I've seen in a couple movies or a couple shows.
It definitely is. I think that's a bad product right there. I think that's a bad product. I can't believe that. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how many my LCS still has, but that's a bad product right there.
I think.
You think?
But
Do you think we'll ever see the 12 out of 50 Tom Brady?
sure, it'll be somewhere, probably in a silver pack in 10 years because it didn't get pulled, or
Yeah.
it never got into the product
Yeah.
for some reason. I don't know. I will say this: last 2 weeks we hadn't had any major shady stuff happening in the hobby.
Very true.
Just a bunch of acquisitions to talk about. So we're bound to have a scandal in the coming month, especially with Bowman coming out, especially with Topps. They've been on a streak of not major mess up with these releases. They're bound to have a mess up coming soon.
Well, no. What do you mean? Topps flagship most certainly did.
Well, I didn't
the
buy
one.
flagship this year.
Oh, so Topps flagship was having a 1-of-1 of every single card,
That is right.
and they didn't put the stamp on the
Stamp
front.
on them. That is right.
It's like, come on, man.
Appreciate that, Brandon.
Thank you very much, sir.
Okay.
Thank you. I think it's I don't know. It's just so weird. Like even right now with the hobby and stuff, like if you're a baseball guy, there's nothing really out there.
I think Dynasty comes out today or came out this week.
A
I
big league,
am
but I mean, like
big league.
big league. See, that big league is that's an affordable product. You get a hobby box for $50. Are you getting cards that are worth, 100, 2, 3, $400? Probably not. But but for a kid to go ahead and get a whole box to get 18 packs worth of cards, I mean that's good value for 45, $50.
And shout out to everybody who got the influence wall got a card like this year. I
Yeah.
think it was widespread in different areas from YouTube, Instagram, breakers. So,
Yep.
and I think it's just cool to say I got a card in a product
Oh
without
yeah.
without being a celebrity per
Yep.
se and
Yeah.
getting in like Alan and Ginger or Gypsy Queen.
Yep.
So I mean that's cool.
Yes, I agree. Yeah, I think that was really good. I think you could think what you want to think about the people that they chose. I mean,
Exactly.
it is what it is. I mean, every single person on there, there are people, there's people that are going to like them. People are going to be like, really, this person, really, that person. Hey, just be happy they got one. I mean, I don't get me wrong. Out of the ones that are there, there's only two that I wouldn't mind getting. I don't care for the other three, for three of them, but it is what it is. I didn't make the product.
I only know of about three of them. Two of them I don't really watch. I know Striker, Doctor Collectible, Jabs.
Yeah.
I can't think of the other two.
Chi City.
I've never haven't been in Shy City stuff. I'm not sure who that is,
He
but it's
uh he
cool.
so Chi City had based out of Chicago, but
Would
he's
assume
actually
I should probably know him then.
but he's actually moving to Las Vegas because he and Hitman are opening up a card shop.
Nice. Well, I hope that goes well.
Yeah.
I am here for all the new card shops, all the new businesses, all the new podcasts. I am very pro new stuff when it comes to this hobby.
Yep.
Whether it succeeds or fails, because why not?
Oh, I agree. I think, I don't, I mean,
Now I'm not
you
gonna be
hear
the
about
test dummy for all the
like
new
people,
people, but
well, like people were giving Jeff Wilson so much crap for opening his store and everything. Why? Like, like, why do you want that to fail? Like, if you're in the hobby, there were people who were like saying, "There's no way, there's not this, not that. It's going to like, why? Why? In all seriousness, forget the name. If someone opens up a card shop, why would you want it to fail when you are in that hobby? I just don't get it. Whether you like the
because the
guy or not,
hobby
whether
is
you
a
like the
business.
well, that's true.
And you don't want good business. You don't want people who are already you perceive to be rich making more money off of something that you like. It's jealousy. I'm not. I can take Jeff Wilson. I can go leave Jeff Wilson. Like it doesn't. Personally, I don't know him. His content I've watched. His content I've liked. His content I've watched. His content I haven't liked. It is what it is. But the
Yep.
fact that he went out and opened a car shop and put his money into it and had his idea and trying to see it to fruition, more power to you. If it fails, it fails. A lot of
Yeah.
entrepreneurs fail, but at least he tried.
Yep.
And if it works, and there's good things that other hobby shops can take from this because it worked for him. He proved concept and it can work. Great. If it fails, but there's something that people like and they can do it better, they'll do it better. I've heard nothing but good things about how the shop looked, its inventory. I like the fact that he's like, hey, we price it if we're not going to do the whole back and forth negotiating.
Right.
And if my price is far off wrong, we will come to a place where it's a better in line.
Yep.
But just because this car sold on eBay for $60 and I have it at $100 doesn't mean I'm going to drop it down to $60.
Right.
I think people don't realize that everything isn't negotiable in this hobby.
Yes,
And
I
sometimes,
agree.
like when you go into a shop, when you go into a retail shop, you kind of got to pay the retail price because that retail is paying for employees, rent, and other overhead that
Exactly.
goes in how they price things.
Exactly.
As opposed to you buying from me on eBay or from you on eBay, which I don't have employees, I don't have overhead I'm looking to pay for and move stuff
Yeah.
fast.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but and
I
also, not everything that gets bought on eBay gets paid for.
very true. Very, very true.
So,
And you're right. You walk in there, the advantage you have and the reason why, if price is a little higher, again, aside from the overhead, it's if you go to buy this card
you get it
and
right now.
you come into my shop, here you go, John,
Hmm.
and I hand it to you, and you take it and you have it in your hand. You're not hoping that the United States Post Office delivers it.
And you know that card is in the condition that it's in because you have it right there.
Right.
I have that same rule when I go to card shows. If the price is off shipping, I will pay the price. So if the card got it for $5 and if it's a $5 card and they're selling it for 8, I'll just buy it for 8. I don't even want to have you argue with you, negotiate with you on it because I'm not paying shipping.
Right. Agree.
Now if it's a $20 card and they got it for 40, then we gonna have a talk.
Yes.
You
I'm
know,
with you
let's
there
talk. Let's
100%.
see what are we really doing. But because I get the instant satisfaction, I get it now. I don't. I take that worry of it's gonna come in correct condition away, and I can evaluate right then and there. I go to car shows. I always go to the big EC3 car show, and generally speaking, I'll spend $50, 60, $70, but I'll be able to identify cars, take them, either grade them and sell them on eBay, or put them right back on eBay and come out even, keep the cars I want, and make a profit
Right.
every show, every
Right.
time.
And again,
And
you
so,
have them in hand. You're not
right.
worried about, also you think about from a standpoint of is, hey, the card you see when you see it live is the actual one that you get.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know that I don't have 2 of these. I only have 1 on eBay, right? And, the pictures look okay, but, you don't know, all of a sudden you get one that, the corner is just a little off. That's not the one, you know what I'm saying? So, so from that standpoint, I like, I'm with you right there. Like I don't
Yeah.
have that much of a problem, because again, you have the card in the hand. And I think, you know, I, look, I gotta be, I mean, I may be wrong, but I have to be no more than 10 miles from that shop. And unfortunately, I haven't been there yet.
Mm-hmm.
That's my bad. I gotta go. I mean, me being in the hobby, I should go. That's the only way
Just to see it.
maybe I could go ahead and talk to Jeff Wilson, get him to come on the show. I mean, I doubt would happen, but you never know. But I and the and then the other piece is, people go, "Oh, well, all he's trying to do is just go ahead, and he's, he's a sports card investor, so people are gonna want to go there and buy from him."
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Well, like people complain about that. It's like, what's the problem? Well,
Shouldn't you be able to use your name and your celebrity to make money?
you don't do
I
you have a problem with Caleb Williams going ahead and making money off of his name?
No.
If you don't have a problem with Caleb Williams making money off of his name or anybody else making money off of their name, why do you have a problem with somebody in a hobby making money off of their name? Look, why do you think Hitman and Chai City are opening up a shop? They know if they're gonna go ahead and get more business because people are they're gonna travel to Vegas. They're in the hobby. They're gonna it's gonna become somewhat of a destination point, right? Because I may walk in there and I may see Hitman. I may
You
see Chai
don't
City
build this
Bull.
following on YouTube. You don't build this following in a hobby and for the sake of just saying I have so many followers.
Right.
especially when you have a business. I'm going to open a business because I have some clause. I have some people that should or can support me,
Right.
right? I mean, you don't open up a business and not market it and not expect, especially when you have a big name. Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelsey are opening up a steakhouse, and are we mad at them?
Right. Exactly. I agree.
You know,
I agree.
Shaq's in every other commercial. Are we mad at Shaq?
Right.
Pimping everything out. Like,
Yep.
you can not like the person, you can be jealous of the person, but just admit what it is,
Hmm.
right? And admit what it is. I don't want you to see because I don't like you.
Right.
I'm just, you can do that, and I don't have the money to do that.
And I
You know?
don't think a shop like his is gonna cause issues with other shops. Number one, they're different. Number two, it's the different type of experience. Not everybody wants that type of experience. Number one. Number two, a lot of people, would rather go to a smaller shop, feeling that there is more of that personal touch of getting to know and then maybe, getting a deal every now and again,
Yeah.
or being notified, hey, just so you know, I know you collect so and so. I just bought a collection. There were a bunch of cards. You know what I'm saying? He has not given the best advice. I don't know if
No,
he's a
he has not.
his advice is not that great and everything. You know,
I,
and I mean,
with
I
everything in this hobby, the more you're in it, the more what you like changes, especially when it comes to content, right? There are, when I first and didn't know much, used to watch SEI, used to watch a lot of other stuff that now that I've been in it for the last 3 years and I'm in it every day and I'm doing my research, I don't need the advice. I don't need. I just want to hear people talk about cards and talk about sports that know what they're talking about. You know,
yeah,
I so it's. I think you don't like influencers, or you think people are influenced because you are easy to influence, right? Nobody besides my wife can tell me how to spend my money.
right, yeah.
That's my
Well, no,
only influence.
yeah, no, and you make a point. It's interesting from a standpoint of, look at some point all the big YouTubers out there, and I mean, and I think it's no matter what um area, what your content is on YouTube. If it's reselling, t-shirts, if it is buying and selling, gold and silver, if it is just, hey, we make stupid videos, of doing blind taste tests of food or so on and so forth. Those people that go ahead and get up there, like the Mr. Beast and a bunch of those other ones and all, and he's way, but I'm saying like guys like those kind of people, their ultimate goal is to financial financialize, and that's not a word, but basically, to get stuff from their people who or monetize their viewership, monetize
Yeah,
their subscribers, not just from them watching videos and going ahead, and getting ad revenue that way, but from saying, hey, if you like the products I use, there's links in the description. Let me
YouTube,
click on that link, boop, and go.
Twitch, TikTok.
Thank you, sir. Much appreciate you hanging out as always.
Thanks, man. Appreciate you hanging out. But YouTube, Twitch, TikTok have all made ways for people to make money on doing what they regularly do
Yep.
and making it seem like anybody can do it. And creating
Correct.
content is hard.
Yes.
Creating content people like is hard. Being consistent in that content is hard. And eventually getting sponsorship from bigger brands is hard.
Yep.
It's not easy. You know, It's not easy to be Mr. Beast or to be Jake Paul, or to be what the kid, what Ryan, who was making $7 million a year just playing.
Yeah.
It's not easy to put out content week in, week out to for anything, no matter what genre you're in. I've been trying to put out content on my YouTube, and then I get busy at work, and I come home and I just don't feel like doing it. I'm just gonna quietly research cards and look at eBay and kick and go about my business because I don't have energy to even come up with a good idea that I think I would want to watch.
Right.
So
No, I agree, and it makes it harder as you go on, because the big thing is trying to keep it fresh also.
yeah,
That's a big thing that a lot of people don't realize, and that it's hard to keep. It's hard when you look at these channels and stuff like that, and a lot of stuff they do. You know, it, you know, they have full production crews also, so it
yeah,
isn't. Like I was watching Chasing Cardboard,
mm-hmm.
and they did like a behind the scenes video. That Ty has two guys that go with him everywhere he goes. Everything
Chocolate
is set
food.
up. Yeah, everything is set up like, when they like they were showing like he was going to visit one guy, and he kind of like knocked on the door, walked in, and that's okay. Hey, here's how we're gonna do. Like, so it's like it's reality, but
But
it
it's
is
produced.
somewhat it's a scripted a little bit, because it's not just hey. I mean, there don't get me wrong. Um, there are certain parts that are, but there are certain things also that when they're sitting and talking, and they kind of have a little thing going on where they know what they're going to talk about. Everything is not off the cuff, you know.
But again, there's also a channel that's probably monetized.
Mhm.
It's probably a channel that I have to make good content, and you can't make good content off the cuff consistent. You have to have a framework.
Right.
You have to understand what your audience likes. I mean, even you, like what we like in here in chat. You know, we're here all the time. We talk. We're going to talk and be real. I don't think
Yeah.
there were no notes for this. You asked me to come on, and I came on. We just started talking.
Yeah.
But that's
Yeah.
what we like.
Yep.
So, you know, but I'm sure if you wanted to make money, you'd go, okay, I got to refine this somehow. I got to find the secret sauce so this can get more people, it can get financed, and I want anybody that I like in the hobby to get sponsorship, make money, because that's
Oh
only going
yeah.
to make them continue making content. You can only do something. You're going to do something you love for so long and put it out to other people without there being some kind of reward.
I agree.
You
I
know,
agree. And you know, I had another channel. I don't really put anything on that. I started YouTube as just as it was a reselling channel where I would basically just talk about what I bought, what I sold, right? And I was an everything reseller.
mm-hmm.
And I still sell a lot of stuff right now, but I don't look for stuff, the way I used to. I mean, I look for sports cards, I look for like action figures, I look for CDs, some collectible Funko Pop, that type of stuff, more small stuff, not doing clothes and housewares and all the other kind of crap. And I had that channel, and very, very frustrated because I found myself constantly trying to make videos for everybody else and caring too much about that number that was underneath the view column.
Mm-hmm.
And it got to the point where it was like, you know what? This bullshit. I don't want to do it. And so when I moved over to doing the sports card stuff and it was like that, I had to change my mindset and just say, look, you know what? Hey, I'm making the video because I'm just it, it it's videoing, my likes of the hobby. I'm not making the video for other people. I'm hoping that people like what it is, but I'm doing it more because I like going ahead and doing it and opening the cards and filming it and all the other kind of stuff and having that little reaction and so on and so forth, right? So when I kind of shifted a little bit, mentally of saying, hey, you know what? Make the videos that you want to make and have fun going ahead and doing them. If you don't want to make a video, don't make a damn video. Don't feel like you got to make a damn video just to make one. Whereas, like I said, one of my other channel, that's what I've always felt is like, oh my gosh, I better go. I haven't made a video in 3 days. I better go ahead and make one because the algorithm is going to screw me now because I haven't been on, I haven't made one every single day for 2 weeks or whatever it may be. So I've kind of, changed that kind of stuff. Thanks, Dami. Appreciate it,
Thanks,
man.
I feel that way about my Instagram page. I post what I want on my card Instagram page.
Yeah.
I don't care how many likes. I don't care comments. I'm gonna post a Star Wars card one day. May not post for 2 weeks. I'll post a Kobe White. That's for me. I don't care who likes it or not. I haven't got that to YouTube because I have not committed to if I fully want to make content for YouTube. Like, so but when it comes to my Instagram, you're gonna see me and my daughter opening stuff and playing with stuff. You're gonna see personal and card and Funko Pops. You're gonna see, hey, you know what? I actually decided I'm gonna sell stuff on eBay this month. So here's all my eBay listings. If you like it, cool. I'll buy a dollar card or not. But I don't care who sees it. I don't look at the numbers. I don't look at the likes. I get a notification. I go see who liked it and close it back down.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter to me at that point.
Yep.
And I think I'll get like that on YouTube when I decide I want to make YouTube videos for me. But right now, I work 60 hours a week. That one more thing. Instagram is easy.
Right.
YouTube is hard.
Yeah, I mean, Instagram takes you, what, a minute and a half?
Yeah. Well, I have pictures of my cars on my phone just because I'm posting them on eBay. I'm searching eBay trying to find this card. So they're just all in my galleries cards.
Yeah. So I started cross posting my videos to the other video thing called Rumble.
Mm-hmm.
And
Wild West.
Yeah, Rumble is like wide open and everything. But you know what though? So far, I've made 13 cents on Rumble. I haven't made anything on YouTube.
Hey. You know what?
I can't cash out yet, but I did make 13 cents. My revenue is up 13 cents. It's funny. They have a channel. They have the statistics of CPM and all this other kind of stuff. And I'm like, get out of here. I just throw the videos up there. If people watch, people watch. I mean, don't get me wrong. Where the big change that has happened for me is really simple as that. If I get a video and, and I'm getting, 60 views, something like that, I am like friggin' stoked. I'm like super happy. If I get one and it gets like 12, it's like, okay, whatever. Whereas in the where the old me would have been like, I cannot believe I suck. This is horrible. No one likes me. That's why they're not watching, so on and so forth. And I'm like, I just don't anymore. That's why, this content is so much better for me because I'm doing it because I like doing what I'm doing in the video. I'm not making the video because I feel as though I have to make the video. I want to make the video of opening up the product. Whereas on the old channel it was, hey, you better go ahead and make a video on everything that you sold over the last week. Oh, look, I sold this men's t-shirt, $4.87. I paid for it. I sold it for $22. Okay, men's t-shirt. I mean, it was very easy not to be, just to basically
you like cards, you like sports.
Yep.
And it's a hobby. So this is an accent to that hobby.
Yeah.
As far as the other reselling is a side job.
Yep.
And you're putting extra work into your side job.
Yeah. And I tell you, people who do this stuff full time and make a full-time living out of it, I give those people a lot of credit, man. A lot of credit because they bust their ass. Because you gotta get, you gotta hustle. You gotta, you have to, you gotta be consistent. You gotta hustle. You got to make sure people are liking what you do. And a lot of people, one of the things, one of the hardest things to do, is find
We're back.
that thing that you like, that type of thing and stuff. You know what I mean? From that standpoint, find that thing that you like and
I
make it
think
video.
that's my thing with eBay. Like, there are some months where I say, you know what, I'm going to put up at least 50 cards, and I'll be consistency with sales. And there's almost like I just don't feel like it.
Yep.
But it's also because I'm not buying as much as I used to. I'm not getting
Same.
as many breaks.
Same.
There's things I want, and I'm just going to buy a single of it right now. And there's things that I'm buying the grade and flip, but that's all times. Not, I'm not going to Target and Walmart and picking up packs and trying to rip stuff and see what's in there. Okay, I don't like this. I'm not getting the random team breaks anymore. I'm just, oh, this break I like got a good deal on the Cubs. I'm getting that.
Yeah, that's one of the big things that I've done, so, like, that's what I will get into breaks on more of the higher dollar cards because, you know, look, like, take I don't know, whatever, take Inception, even though, it's high, right? I I don't care, I don't wanna open up one pack of 7 cards, and be like, "Oh, wow, I got really no one that I care about," right? But if someone's gonna do a full case, 30 boxes, and I can go ahead and get the Mets, I'll do that because
Yeah,
I'm gonna get cards that I'm gonna at least want. I'm not gonna get
that
a bunch of cards that I don't want.
I think that's the perfect way to break, right? Especially if you're a fan of a player, if you're a fan of a team, break that team first and foremost,
Yep.
and then pick up value everywhere else. You know,
Yeah.
I've gotten into breaks. Oh, I got the Cubs, but they were Southern Angels for $20. Oh, cool. Hit a Logan O'Hoppe auto. Huh.
Yep.
That paid for both my breaks right there.
Got that right.
Just because I'm a value person when it
Yes.
comes to the hobby. Like if it's a good value and it's going in the PC, cool. If it's a good opportunity to flip and sell down later, let's see how much value is there. Let me think about this because I will pick the wrong horse.
Right. No, well, you're right. So, like, yeah, see, like, for instance, where if I'm gonna get into a product and it's pick your team and I pick the Mets, you know what? I'm okay. Okay. If I see that, the pricing is, if I see it like the pricing is okay and stuff, what I'll do then is I go look at the checklist.
Mhm.
And if I'm gonna get into something, because then I'm looking and saying, okay, if let's say there's 3 teams that are $20 and I'm thinking about from a value type perspective, I look at a checklist and I go, wait a minute. This team only has 8 different cards. This team has 15 different cards. Holy crap. This team has 22 different cards. I'm going to take that one because my chances of hitting a card or two are going to be a lot better than those other teams,
Yeah.
So I do that stuff all the time where if I'm thinking, I'm getting in, or if it's like, hey, I got one team already, they have some value. I won't have to pay any more for shipping because, if you get more than one team, they don't charge shipping. I'll look at a second team. I'm thinking, okay, I'm already saving maybe $4 or $5 on shipping. And if a team is $15, if there's a couple teams at $15, then I just look at the checklist and the one that has the most cards, if no one's buying, I'm like, yeah, I'll give you $15 for that one, because I'm already in.
I'm already in.
Already in.
And then my favorite breakers are breakers who I know are going to ship quickly.
Yes.
Like
Yes.
this is the operation. I know that the entertainment. I'm gonna watch them. They're gonna be fine. I'm gonna get what I'm supposed to get, and then I know, hey, in 2 days it's in the mail. Whether I'm getting them, they're sending me the shipping on eBay or they're sending it to me on Instagram. I know I'm getting my stuff pretty quickly.
Yep.
I don't care because I don't break with them anymore. But like Norfolk 7 cards, I would never break with them again. They're on YouTube, but it took 2 weeks
Yep.
gonna ship out my brake. I'm not breaking with them again. Like, I don't care that you guys run 12, 13, 14 breaks a day. If you're doing that many breaks and you can't ship stuff out in 3 days because you're selling it all on eBay anyway, eBay says you have 3 days to ship everything out. If you can't do that, then there's nothing for us to. There's no business me and you to have.
Right.
I
That
wrote
the other ones that I won't break with the ones that say they don't ship base cards. I don't. I mean, you know, I like getting home cards.
I'm with you on that, unless I've been in a lot of breaks. That all depends on how many breaks I'm in.
Fair point. That's
if
fair.
I've been in a lot of breaks, I'm cool with not getting base.
That's fair.
But that's only with breakers I've broken with that I break with regularly.
Right.
Like SD card bros. If they're doing a case of Bowman and it's like they did a case of Bowman in January, it's like we're not sending base, but it was last year's Bowman. So like, okay, that's fair.
Yeah. Like, only base you get is numbered base.
Right. You've got you're breaking 2023 Bowman in January and you're in this break, you've already gotten your base. You don't need your base. But again, when somebody says, "Hey, could you send me my base?" They'll send you your base.
Yeah.
So that's just a thing of preference.
Yep.
But you know, all right. It's
late.
It is late, and I have to be up in a few hours for work again.
Man, I appreciate you coming on, man. Thank you.
Appreciate it anytime. It was fun. Good to get to talk things out.
Hey, you know what? You know, you're a wrestling guy.
Yep.
So, let's look the week before WrestleMania. Maybe we'll do like a little wrestling show.
WrestleMania is next weekend. You know that, right?
Oh crap! So that would be next weekend, wouldn't it be?
But we can still do one.
We can figure. Yeah, let's figure something out.
Figure something out. Thanks, Dom. I'll see you.
Thank you. Yeah, happy birthday, John.
Bye.
Bye, buddy. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.